Good day and welcome back, and we are going to be taking a look in this video at the performance of the Int, Super Saiyan Goku and Super Saiyan Vegeta in the Potara Esbr. So obviously these guys, these guys are pretty interesting. They're a pretty good unit. I think they obviously got their Easy A quite recently. They're very, very, very solid. I like their build, I like everything about them. Obviously, just to recap them super quickly, they're 180% attack and defense. They have a medium chance of crit, they have a medium chance of evasion. If you manage to get to 6 turns and you're below 50% health, you will fully heal and they'll turn into Vegeta. Obviously, just as like a kind of precursor or a big mention, they are not units that are going to, you're not going to get that heal a lot in ESBR or SBR. Just in general, getting to turn 6 is quite difficult. In these events you can have it happen, but yeah, generally speaking you shouldn't really see it. If you do see it, you're using a very low offense team, and that's fine. If you do see it, it's not to knock you or anything. You are more than welcome to run it and run that team and to run those heals and do those type of builds. But generally speaking, you just shouldn't really see it. At least I don't think you should. I think it's just not really something that's going to be great. Fortunately, I've got a friend who's rainbowed and mine is rainbowed, so we're all seeing a pretty similar story here. Overall, just a very solid unit. Their medium chance to crit gives them pretty good damage. Their whole evasion helps out, I guess. And generally speaking, they do pretty good damage. The raw stats, the defense, everything like that, all pretty helpful across the board. So yeah, generally they do quite well. I think they're pretty good in ESBR. Obviously, Potara ESBR was released quite a while ago, so I would say that they're kind of ahead of the curve of the Potara ESBR. They'd have a much tougher time in something like Pure Saiyan's ESBR, but I thought I'd change it up because I always use Pure Saiyan's ESBR, and we will be showcasing these guys in the red zone, so yeah, there's no need to take them into Pure Saiyans and into red zone and into a whole bunch of others. But yeah, generally speaking, they do quite well. They have good damage, they have very good defense. Obviously this is at a rainbow level, but you should see pretty decent results from them even without them being rainbow, because they are just generally speaking quite solid, and their stats are pretty high. Their base stats are really quite high. You will see pretty good results from them across the board. Obviously there's not too much special about them in the sense of they don't stack or anything, so their numbers are pretty much their numbers, if that makes sense. Like they have 220,000 attack and defense, they have 220,000 defense, so that's it. They're going to raise that a little bit after their super to the 250 mark, but that's pretty much it. You're going to have 250,000 defense, so it's not that that's bad. What I'm saying is what you see is what you get. 5 million attack set. Yeah, okay, support might change that a little bit, raise it up, make it 5.6 million, but realistically speaking, you're not going to see a drastic change in performance from unit to unit, and instead you're just going to see pretty solid numbers from them all around the table. So for me, personally speaking, I think they do a very good job, but they will be outscaled eventually by the game quite quickly because their cap is kind of set in stone. That being said, they do fantastic right now. They do really, really well in this event. They do really, really well in some other events, and just for the most part, I think they do a lot of good stuff across the board, and they're very simple. They're a unit that you can just slot in and use anywhere really. They have great link set. They've yeah, got a good kit, and they generally get decent key if you have rainbow orbs and stuff like that. So you don't really need to try too hard to make them do well, which I think is a perk for them. Yeah, it's always good to have a unit that just does well. It's always great to have units that just don't need a lot to get going. I think that's always something good. It's always something that's good for the team. It's good for team building. It's good for players. Like, not every unit needs to have requirements or ways to work, and sometimes you just need units that do the business. Yeah, that do the business, that get done, and that you can rely on to complete events. And I think that's realistically what these guys are. They don't give you a lot of room to screw up, which is great. That being said, the only real thing I can say is that they can still get hit for a little bit from enemy supers. They will still take damage. They're not immune to damage at all. So you do need to be aware of that. You can't just throw them in the way of anything. And like I said, they heal. Super unlikely to get their heal. Like, very, very unlikely to get their heal at any point in time. Like, it's not something you're gonna get, especially in ESPR. The events just don't go long enough. And like I said, if you do get it, if you do end up going that far, that's fine. If your build ends up not doing that much damage to the point that you do end up taking damage, that's okay. It's really not the end of the world. At least not, like, from my perspective. Obviously you'd like to do more damage, but it's not really like a big issue, because just getting their heal, then they turn into Vegeta, and when they do a lot of stuff. The counters, the raising defense, the damage reduction that they have is all good stuff. So yeah, for me, it's not a huge issue if you do get them to transform, but it just means that you probably should look at your damage and try and rebuild your team a little bit. Just kind of jig it around. But yeah, overall, they do pretty well. Here we've got them taking on AGL Gogeta. Pretty good metric, I think. Like, a pretty good metric for, like, your team and everything. And, like, I think a very good, like, basis for how much damage they can take, and you can see that here. Like, they take the super attack. They take 368k, which isn't bad with no item, So no item, they tank that perfectly fine. AGL Gogeta is a hard unit. These units in ESBR and SBR, they work like that. So if the unit has if there's one unit, generally speaking, it's a lot harder to defeat than if there is 2 or 3 units. That unit generally just hits harder. So yeah, it's a good basis to measure them on, and they did perfectly fine. Tanking a super from a unit like that basically is the epitome of having pretty solid defense. Like I said, obviously this SBR has aged a little bit, but being able to still take a 500k super attack is good. That's it from me. Hope you enjoyed it, and bye.